So Jenny and I have been debating which ab exercises are the best for movement and calisthenics.
So we've finally come up with 3 of our favorites to improve your core strength and also your body weight strength skills.
The first exercise we're going to look at is the most accessible out of the 3, and it's called the hollow body hold. We're going to be looking at all the different progressions that we can do, and we love it here at Team C because it builds strength for the handstand.
The second exercise we're going to look at is a dragon flag. The dragon flag is amazing for building rock solid abs. It is one of the hardest exercises for the abs that we practice at the Movement Collective, and it's super helpful for working on things like your levers.
And the final one is the hanging leg raise. There's also progressions for this one here with 2-arm variations, 1-arm variations, bent leg, and straight leg. Let's get into it. The hollow body hold, we're going to look at the easiest progression first. A couple of things to remember with this one. We want to make sure that the lower back is on the ground. If the lower back starts to lift off the ground, it means that you're losing that engagement of the core and you'll start to arch through the lower back. So what you can do while you're practicing this, you can keep checking in and making sure that you're making contact. It's good to have a partner as well. They can sort of check like this, but you can also check your own back and make sure that it's touching the ground just like this. So making sure the abs are nice and tight. The first variation, we're going to pull the knees all the way into the chest. So we're decreasing the leverage, making everything nice and small, like crunching in or flexing the spine. So we're making the body nice and small. This is going to make it easier on the core and on the abs. We're bringing the shoulders up off the ground and then gently lifting the head as well. So this is the easiest variation. When this feels comfortable, we're going to start to open up. And what we can do is start to bring the knees away from the torso and start to open up. Again, checking that the lower back is on the ground and the abs are nice and tight. So keep opening up and you just find a progression that works for you. You'll keep opening and opening and opening till eventually the legs are straight. We want to flex the quads, point the toes, open up, keep checking with that lower back. And then the final variation is stretching the arms overhead, elevating through the scapula like you would in a handstand, and then opening up as much as you can here. Nice work, Jenny. After each round of this, I like to stretch it out as well because it's quite intense on the abs. We like to do 30 to 60 second rounds, and you can do 3 to 5 sets. So just a couple more things with the hollow body. Time seems to go really slow in this position. So if you're doing minute holds, it can feel like 3 minutes. This happens in class all the time. We're running the timer and everyone's like, is the timer done? Is the timer done? And it's only been a minute. So if you want to take your mind off it and you want to do a minute hold, what you can do is start to flutter the legs or move the legs crisscross. This makes it a little bit harder, a little bit more challenging because we're adding a little bit of movement into it. But again, it just takes your mind off holding that position for such a long period of time. Another way to make it harder, you can grab a small weight and progressively overload this over time, make the weight a little bit heavier as you get stronger. You can take it overhead once you're in this full position, and this will increase the demand of the core to stabilize in this position. That wasn't a minute. And you can also see how the hollow body is a very similar position to this straight line handstand.
This is the hardest version of the dragon flag, and you can see why it's so hard. The legs are out in a really long lever, placing so much demand on the core. But don't worry, we can make this exercise much easier by progressing it back a little. So bringing the knees down a little closer to the body is going to shorten the lever and place less demand on the core. So coming down slowly, you can land on the ground, so you can bring your bum all the way down, rest, kick yourself back up and then go again. That would be easier than coming down, touching it and coming straight back up. So a little touch and pulling back up is going to be a little bit harder. Another variation of this one would be having one leg out straight and one leg in bend. And depending on the degree that you bend this leg, you can make it a little bit easier or a little bit harder the further it is away from your body. Look at those abs.
The last ab exercise we're going to work on is the hanging leg raise. We've got a bunch of different variations, progressions, easiest to hardest, and a few other variations as well. Let's get into it. So we're going to jump up and hang on the bar in a pronated position. So like this, palms facing forward. Jenny's going to show us the bent leg version. So just moving up and down, pulling the knees into the chest as high as you possibly can. The next variation is legs straight, so it's bringing the legs up, challenging the hip flexors and the core in this movement, trying to bring the legs up as high as you can. And then the last one is bringing the legs all the way to the bar. You can use your lats a little bit and pull back, but we try to minimize that and try to use the hip flexors and the core by keeping the shoulders nice and steady, moving in and out of it. Another challenge for this one is to try to keep the legs dead straight. You can do that by squeezing the legs, pointing the toes, and try to keep those legs locked out.
If you want to challenge the obliques, another variation is the hanging twist leg raise. And also, once you're able to get your toes all the way up to the bar for the leg raise, you might want to try this one arm variation.
Oh, it's so hard.
So they're our top 3 core exercises. The first one was the hollow body hold, the second one was the dragon flag, and the third one was the hanging leg raise.
If you want more information about time, sets and reps, or application of these movements, please leave a comment below, and we're going to put all of these exercises, sets and reps into the description as well. See you in the next video.